Hey guys, Blue Collar Bible Time is back. I'm super excited about it. Had a lot going on. I don't want to waste your time. Let's get right to it. Would love to share with you some awesome biblical stuff that you cannot make up. I can't make this up with how cool the Bible ties together. It's an integrated message from outside of our time domain. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the only religious book that has prophecy in it. Not only that, it's got prophecy fulfilled. No other book has that. Not the Book of Mormon, not the Quran. It's crazy how this one book that they have tried to destroy over the years is still here. We'll get more into that later. Let's check this out. You know, traditional Judaism says that Jewishness is passed down on the maternal side. So if your mom's not Jewish, you ain't Jewish. I beg to differ. Let's take a closer look. There's 6 times in the Old Testament where you had a Jewish patriarch, leader, marry a Gentile bride. Check this out. Let's start with Adam. You had Adam who married Eve. Okay, you could say, well, neither one's Jewish, they were just created. Okay, fine. But you still have Adam being called the first Adam, and you have Jesus being called the second Adam. And Jesus was Jewish, so I'm going to go with this. Not only that, remember that Eve was the one that sinned, and Adam went ahead and said, man, I love my wife. This is going to suck. I'm giving up paradise, but I love my wife. Remember, Jesus came and died, voluntarily for his bride, the church. So we have Adam who had Eve. Then we have Isaac who had Rebekah. Remember Isaac, Abraham's son. You guys all know the story about, they went up on the mountain and he was going to have to sacrifice Isaac, and then he didn't have to because he was actually going to go through with it. Well, okay. So Isaac had Rebekah. After that, we've got Joseph. You guys remember Joseph in the coat of many colors? Joseph had a wife named Asenath. Obviously, she wasn't Jewish either. She was Egyptian. Then you have Moses, who after he, fled, had his wife Zipporah. After Moses had Zipporah, you got Salmon, not Salmon, Salmon. Not Salman Rushdie either. I just think about that from that Seinfeld episode. But yeah, Salmon had Rahab. See, Rahab, hold on. Is that the same Rahab? The prostitute? That was, at the city of Jericho? It sure is. Yeah. That Jewish man married Rahab the harlot. And then their little boy, Boaz, married Ruth. So we have 6 times here. Now, part of this that's really cool is Rahab and Ruth, and that's the line that Jesus comes from. So it's like, hey, Scoop. Yeah, for real. Here's the really cool part. So that's 6 times in the Old Testament where you have a Jew, a Jewish man, marrying a non-Jew. All right? Well, follow me on this. You have different, sects that believe certain things. Some believe you have to be baptized or you have to speak in tongues. Some believe that there is going to be a rapture. Some believe there's not. Us believers that believe there's going to be a rapture, that's very exciting because the 7th time that a Jewish man, marries a non-Jew, it's prophetic, hasn't happened yet, but it will be when Jesus takes his bride, the church, to rapture and takes him to heaven. That's pretty wild. Even if you don't believe in the rapture, you still believe that when you get saved, you're the bride of Christ. So that's 7 times. Each one of these women that were listed in the Old Testament, none of their deaths are recorded. It doesn't mean they didn't die, it's just not recorded. But what's really cool about that is that the church, being the bride of Christ, we don't suffer eternal death being separated from God. That's wild, isn't it? It shows you, that's a great example of how the Bible is outside of our time domain. The New Testament is concealed in the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is revealed in the New Testament. You can't make up how all that ties together. That's wild. So, look, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I plan on being back next week, God willing, with some more stuff like this. If you want more of this kind of content on your own, please check out Koinonia House and the work that Chuck Missler established there, because that changed my life. And it could definitely change yours. Let's just keep Christ at the center of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Let's see what doors God opens, because I think God's starting to move in a big way. And if you're watching this right now, there's a reason for it. Think about it. Who were you talking to this past week? What were you talking about? And it just happens to lead you to this right now. The Jews say coincidence isn't a kosher word. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.